Hey everyone, this is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here in Charlotte, North Carolina with your latest vlog on Matthew. We'll get right to it because obviously the threat is now looming for Florida. The storm this morning is absolutely clobbering Nassau, Bahamas. This is the radar and satellite together. It's close enough to Florida now that we're getting a good little radar loop of it and you can clearly see the center. This is key now because now we can actually track that center more precisely because the radar data is going to come in less than every 5 minutes. So this is almost real time as opposed to satellite or waiting for an airplane to get out there to get fixes on it. That little island right there, unfortunately, that is where Nassau, Bahamas, this is on Andros Island there. It's moving right between them, so it's not really over land. It's actually the worst case scenario because the eye walls are on the land and the eye is staying over the water. Let me stop this here. We'll kind of move that off and turn the radar off real quick. Just saw a wind gust from the Nassau airport of 85 miles an hour, but the data was coming in intermittently, so I'm not exactly sure how much of that data is actually real because of maybe some damage or power outages. We'll look at the radar here. Here's the radar loop that I have out of Miami. Real good view of that eye wall. The fact that it's so far from the radar, which is way over here near Miami, and that you can see those tops and even some lightning strikes in the eye wall. This storm is getting stronger. Hurricane hunters were out there. The pressure was falling down to 937 millibars. As the pressure falls, the winds will start to catch up. So it is getting stronger, likely going to be a Category 4 here soon as it moves to the northwest. The one little piece of good news for Florida is I've been looking at the wind field, and the strongest winds, those 100-mile-an-hour plus winds, are really confined to within just 20 or 30 miles of that eye wall. The winds further away are strong, but they're more in the tropical storm force variety. You could see along the Keys we've had some winds over 40 miles an hour. So we're already getting tropical storm force winds on the Florida Keys and even on the east coast of Florida. I look at the Doppler velocities, and right in here, this is we're looking at about, this is pretty far off the ground because this is the edge of the radar. This is about 23,000 feet in the air, and the winds right there are about 116 miles per hour on the north side. The south side, the winds, kind of hard to tell, are about 80. And that's basically what you get, a little bit weaker on one side. So up in here, as you get closer to the radar, the winds about 10,000 feet off the ground are about 60 miles an hour. So you can see basically the strongest winds are going to be confined to a very small cone or circle around the eye. Here's a look at the latest track. This was the 5 a.m. advisory. It's moving exactly as planned. Category 4 later today, moving towards the coast. This will be heading towards Florida tonight and tomorrow. So the time frame from this really is going to be during the day tomorrow. Let me go back here and I'll put on the actual plots. So this is going to be later this morning and this afternoon about 2 o'clock, approaching the Florida coast at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then moving up here near Daytona Beach, on Friday afternoon, and then making that turn as we go into Saturday at 2 a.m., and then Saturday afternoon into Sunday night starts making that turn offshore. Let me go back to here, and you can see this is a little bit better news even for South Carolina. Now, this is not just a point on the map. It's going to make more of a rounded turn like this. So areas along the South Carolina coast under the hurricane watch likely going to see some significant storm surge. You could even see some storm surge all the way up into North Carolina. I think that's a distinct possibility. And let me show you a model of what the storm surge could look like. This is off the east coast of Florida. The highest surge will be from around Cape Canaveral up to the Daytona Beach area. So let me show you just a quick little cross section here. I'll click right there and we'll get the storm surge model. And you can see it peaks out here 1 o'clock tomorrow at almost 9 feet above mean sea level. Okay, that's pretty dang high. That's something to keep on. Then you get up towards north of Jacksonville, the Savannah area. This is an area we'll have to watch south of Savannah. Some of these, the time cross series, especially the Ultimo River there, you could see that approaches about 8.8 feet at 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So big potential there for storm surge. As you get closer to the Charleston area, you can see here the surge is a little less, but it takes a lot less to cause flooding. If we go right into Charleston Harbor and put a click there, you could see the water comes up for a couple days. We've got a max of almost 3.3 feet at 1 o'clock in the morning Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, 5.16 feet above mean sea level in Charleston Harbor. So the potential is still there. We're going to see some significant surge in the Charleston area. All the model guidance today, let me turn this off real quick and I'll show you the model guidance from this morning. And they're all pointing to this kind of recurvature or loop almost. I got to turn Nicole off because Nicole is an issue we'll talk about in a minute. But all the models you can see now hinting at that recurvature. Now, here's the thing. There is a chance, yes, that this could recurve and come back and hit Florida again. But remember, it's going to be much weaker up here as it moves southwest. It's not going to be a massive hurricane like it is now. So the first hit is the bigger deal. The second hit could be a tropical depression or tropical storm. They don't need the rain after the first hit, and if it hits areas already damaged by the first hit, could be issues. But it's not going to be a huge double whammy. It's the first hit that's the biggest deal, because this thing is going to be a Cat 4 coming in. You can see it's going to be a tropical storm in day 5, weakening. So even the second hit, not as big a deal as the first hit. So in Florida, this is the real deal. This would be the first major hurricane to hit the United States in 11 years. That's over 4,000 days. And if it makes a little nudge to the west, which is there's potential, these winds, which are over 100 miles an hour, this is all this red here is over 40 miles an hour, could cause some massive damage along the coast. You could see 6 a.m. tomorrow, the eye is just offshore, and this is based on the modeling. Again, it could be much closer. The difference between 20 or 30 miles is going to be huge because of that small circulation. It wouldn't take much to bring those winds onshore. In fact, even here you see the strongest winds are right on the coast. This would cause widespread power outages and structural damage. Could make many areas inhabitable for weeks, depending on how much infrastructure is destroyed. So if you're on the Florida coast, you need to get off it, get inland immediately if you can. And if you're stuck there, it's time to hunker down. As it goes towards South Carolina, the good news, it is going to be weakening and making that turn. The bad news, like I said yesterday, you don't want to play chicken with this thing. There's still going to be very strong winds. I expect widespread power outages in the low country of South Carolina. The combination of rain, softening the ground, and even 40 mile to 50 mile an hour winds will bring down trees, no problem. As we go into Saturday afternoon, the storm starts to make that turn off to the east. And as it makes that turn, conditions in North Carolina will deteriorate a little bit, but this will be about the worst of it Saturday afternoon as it moves away. This is 9 p.m. and then we'll go to 9 a.m. on Sunday. The storm is moving away. Still gusty winds here in the Carolinas for a while. We'll see gusty winds here probably lingering well into Sunday afternoon. But good news for North Carolina, bad news for South Carolina, and unfortunately for Florida, folks. This is the real deal. Get ready now. So this was kind of a long one. I'll post updates throughout the afternoon. If you have friends and family in Florida, please tell them to take this as serious as a heart attack. You cannot joke around with this one. This could become a Cat 4 any moment now, and there's a small chance it could become a low-end Cat 5.